other name is Julia. And another one is Stephanie Somphunai. And I would like to request if, we have I faced with the electricity shortages the whole morning, and it's up and down. And if I, disappear or, happen, I will try to rejoin the meeting. That's, my request. And I'm sorry for the disturbances and inconveniences. Thank you.
Thank you, CESE team. And Nafri, are you ready? Could you please assign anybody of your team to introduce all of the Nafri and NARDT in Laos?
Dr. Jamsamon, do you hear me?
Okay.
Dr. Simon.
Okay. Dr. Samson,
Dr. Simon.
introduce yourself, please.
Lasami, could you please help to coordinate? Maybe there is some technical connection with Dr. Cheng Samon. Could you please introduce the team from Nafri or from Laos?
Okay. Good afternoon. Today, Nafi team will have 4 people from Nafi and 2 people from the Life Center in Long Province. They have joined us today. Sorry for Dr. Kampu, the project coordinator. He is have been busy, so he cannot join for this meeting. Sorry.
So 4 people now sitting with you.
3 people sitting with me.
Okay.
And Dr. Jansamon, he is at home. And 2 people from Long Province.
Okay, good. We are afraid that there's some problem, technical problem with Dr. Chan Samon home. He seems to be not cannot listen from us. Anyway, so thank you. So we can start now. Mekong, please introduce yourself. I already know you already.
Okay, on behalf of the IPSARD team, I would like to thank you very much for organizing this webinar. In our opinion, the NARDT is moving forward in a very impressive results expressed by the supervision missions last year, and we just provided with no objection to your annual work plan and budget, and everyone at IPSARD are very pleased with the progress of the project. However, COVID epidemic providing very heavy impacts to the rural communities in general and to a particular ODA international cooperation projects. So NARDT, I think that the workshop like you are organizing today is what we need to do for this year. This is the only way we can do at this moment. But at IPSARD, we found online working is also very effective. For example, this year, we have conducted 2 supervision missions to loan project in Vietnam, and we worked directly with the project steering committee, the provincial departments, with even communities through online discussion. And somehow it looks that we cannot personally meet, we cannot interact, and especially we cannot discuss on the farm with the farmers. However, it is very efficient because it saves a lot of time for traveling, save a lot of time for working individually with each district, each commune. By the online meetings, we can discuss with many stakeholders at the same time. And it is a remarkable efficiency of the online working. Tomorrow, we are working with 4 provinces in the Central Highland, with the Ministry of Agriculture, with the people in Rome, with the people, with the consultants based around the world. So I think somehow I see very good advantages of the working online, especially with the activity like you are doing today, with 4 countries, with many participants. But I think this is the first attempt that we, as the NARDT project managers, we can provide at the end of this webinar a small discussion on the lesson learned, how we do next time better. Because I think NARDT is about network. Network needs to include as many participants as possible, so that the online, I think, is a very, very important instruments that we can involve many stakeholders for discussion at the same time. So I like to stop here to congratulate all of you in all the countries. We actually doing this, expressing our efforts for overcoming the challenges created by the COVID-19 to our project. And I'd like to convey my best wishes for your webinar today as the first attempt, what we are trying to do more and more under NARDT. So thank you, all of you. And I appreciate IPSARD, Dr. Thang Linh, and particularly Dr. Sơn. I think as a newly appointed as the Chief Technical Advisor, a series of webinar is in your hand. And with the support from all the members of the steering committee for the NARDT, and also the country facilitators, I hope that through the online meetings, workshops, even the small group meeting, bilateral and so on, we can go ahead with very great success under NARDT. And again, my congratulations, and I look forward to your active participation in this webinar. We have to step by step to improve our efficiency through online meeting. Thank you very much. I'm sorry that for this the first webinar, I have not invited the other staff, country director, program officers at the country office in the 4 countries. So, but the next time we do how the best we organize webinar. I promised to bring in as many as the IPSARD staff, and please also next time we prepare more in detail what we can cooperate with the ongoing IPSARD investment projects in all provinces, because the supervision mission report strongly recommend how NARDT will be integrated with the others IPSARD supported program and projects with the other policy initiative in each country. And I look forward for the next webinars and stronger participation by all the IPSARD program stakeholders. Thank you. And I look forward and please always tell IPSARD what we can help you the best for your activities. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Tung. We can now then we can start for the technical program of the webinar. Today we will discuss among ourselves with a very traditional issue and very important issue of our countries. It is the joint research program for rice. So we already discussed among ourselves several times for the structure and the outcome of this research. So I assume that everybody aware about what we are going to do and why we do it and what will be the expected result. What I assume to do today is we try to make agreement among ourselves in the methodology, in the timing schedule, and the sharing among ourselves about responsible of each stage of the research. In order to conduct a very well joint research between among 4 countries. I think the content of research is quite straightforward. After this research, on 14th, we will understand clearly about the situation of rice production and rice trading activities in 4 countries. And from that basic information, we can analyze, go to detail about the problem, about the solution that we are trying to cope with those problems, with the challenger and opportunity of the sector. Later on, Mr. Chang, Dr. Chang will review again the research program, and after that, each team will present themselves your cooking program, and also you can ask the question about whatever you feeling is not very clear. Give the comment to improve the approach and the cooking plan, and after that we come to the conclusion about agreement ourselves for what should be done in the end, from now until the end of this year, for complete this research. Before we can come to the discussion, I would like to share with you some of my thinking about the rice sector today. It's surprisingly that is that rice today, even though it is very the old story. It is the sector already have historically development in each country, and it is going quite well for the last time until now. However, with the new situation of climate change, of the COVID epidemic, and with the unstable political situation in some countries, we see the rice sector have a new phase, and it also appear several new problems that we have to cope with. First of all, it seems to be that the food security issue again become quite important issue to address. So we are already all of us already saw the problem of several crises of food price. For in mid of the year 70, in the year 2008, and now during the end of last year and the beginning of this year, one more time, the price in the world also unstable. And we see in the statistic data, we see the price, especially in Myanmar, increased dramatically. And it's quite strange with such countries like us, the rice bowls of the world. And even in Vietnam, we also exist the time of price unstable. So one more time, the food security issue is remind us about how important rice sector is, especially with the uncertainty of the climate change situation in the world in the future. The second thing happen in rice sector is the demand changing. So in many places in our region, when the demand and the income of people raising, so the food eating pattern is changing also. In many places in Vietnam, China, and in Thailand, people reduce rice production. The area of rice is smaller and smaller, and replaced by diversified commodity. In Vietnam, fruit tree, fisheries, aquaculture is step by step move into the rice field. So that is the reaction of the farmer with the new demand in the market. However, that also is the new challenger and a new opportunity for farmer who 1,000 years already practice rice production. And when another crop, another farming system replace rice, farmer also have to think again about the way they grow rice. In many countries today, the high yield rice variety is replaced by high quality, even a little bit low yield or more resistant rice with drought, with salinity intrusion in order to cope with the problem of climate change. So rice production system is changing quite soon. That is also new thing in the rice sector. The new technology, especially the digital economy, also move into rice field with intelligent system for monitoring, water monitoring, soil pest, disease, and also changing the way people trading rice, the way people manage the equipment or labor. So new approach also apply in the rice field, like landscape standard or responsible standard, side by side with the technology, another technology standard. That is answer, another moving, another changing in rice field. And the last thing we also see is a big change in the rice sector. That is a value chain development. So the connection between farmer and market is closer and more effective. And those things appear in all the rice growing countries, and it change the effectiveness, economic effectiveness of rice. It change the value of rice, and it change the way and the life of the farmer who grow rice. And it also have important influence into policy application of each country. So I think that I hope that in our research we start today, those can also be will be apparent in the result, and we can see deep into the system, see the tendency of changing, see the reason why it happened, and in order to have a good suggestion for policymaker in our policy brief later. So that is what we are thinking. And among 4 countries ourselves, since from Vietnam point of view, we see that when we changing about our production system, the Laos and Cambodia rice system during the trading among ourselves, during the changing the seed, changing the water resource, they are also very, very strong influence among ourselves. And I think that with Myanmar, given the uncertainty in the political situation, I think we suppose that there are also a lot of new problem and new issue that we need to be addressed. So taken into account those suggestions, I would like to ask each of the team present. Update for the research program, improve our methodology, and we come to the very practical and effective way to do this research. And now I think first of all, we would like to ask Dr. Chan to remind us about approach, methodology, and expected outcome of our research program before we come to each presentation of each team. So, Dr. Chan, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sun. So, on behalf of IPSARD team, I would like to present the very material for the regional research. Let me share screen. This based on the COR, the proposal and the questionnaire that we share with you since the steering committees earlier this year. And I think 1 week before, we also sent to all teams through emails But I would like all of you regard it like a suggestion from our team, and welcome all of your ideas based on Dr. Song's suggestion about the context in the next 10 years or so, and also the specific conditions of each country, so that after today's meeting we can come up with, like Dr. Song says, a flexible but reasonable and feasible plans to successfully implement this first regional research. So from the logistics, this research is in the component 2. And in the steering committee meeting, we all agree that there are a separate amount of the funds in this research to be transferred directly by IPSARD to Cambodia, Laos, and Myanmar. And I understand that each country should have the total of $12,000 to contribute to this research, including $7,000 for consultant work and $5,000 for survey field visit, etc. For this matter, maybe Myanmar may have some difficulty with funding due to the specific condition in Myanmar now. But I hope that the difficulty will soon be resolved, and after all, Myanmar can get the fund needed later. But I hope that we can still facilitate the work together with all other 3 teams. So later, maybe Myanmar team can have more comment on that. Even discuss about the risk and the coping measure for different risks when conducting this research. So the overall objective of this research is to provide an overall picture of the regional rice sector, and provide evidence-based policy recommendation for the sustainable development of the rice sector, and also facilitate the sharing experiences and strengthening cooperation among countries. So we have 2 objectives, the technical one and the team building through the regional research. And this is challenging because this is the first regional research within the NARDT. So I hope that we can all focus on this and make it a success. There are 4 targets, specific targets of this research. First, we expect that each country team will review the rice production in each country, focusing on the climate change impact. These are the initial ideas, but I understand that from Dr. Song's suggestion, there are more. Not only the nexus between climate change and the food security, but also the impact of income pattern change and the demand pattern, the intake, the food intake different, the digitalization, and also the recent risk brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic, etc. So we hope that all these the recent trend will be reflected into our research. And we also would like to review the role of smallholders in the value chains, in the rice value chains, in the new context. The second target is to review the seasonality, varieties, productivity, the organization of value chains, processing, trade, market, and policy in each country rice sector. From that, we, as the whole team, we can show the similarities and differences among countries. It should be the base for our future cooperations and experience sharing. And the third target is the exchange of market development experience among countries. And the last target is finally we need to propose the policy recommendation for each country and for the region at regional level too, to develop the regional rice sector in a sustainable way based on these similarities and differences among countries. In order to fulfill all the set targets, we expect to combine different methodology, including the literature review, secondary data collections, and especially in the condition of COVID-19 pandemic. So maybe come to the field visit may be difficult. So we really would like to based on the consultants' experience. Later on, when in the milestone, we expect that within the next month, we expect all team in form the consulting capable to do this regional research, taking into account all the difficulties we may have due to the moving constraints and other things based on what we already have, because we here are the top think tanks of each country. So we think that this study should based on what we expertise we already built and update with field visit if possible. And of course, if the situation is favorable, we would like to have field surveys of the rice value chains in each country. At least we should interview rice farmers, and ideally we can interview all stakeholders in the value chain, in the rice value chains, as well as the local authorities. From all the data and information collected from secondary and primary channels, we hope that we can analyze the similarities and differences in the rice sector in all 4 countries using both quantitative and qualitative tools. And within this study, we have 2 consultation workshops. One workshop on the implementation plan and exchanging experiences among countries. We hope that we can conduct this workshop when all 4 teams have detailed, clear implementation plan for each country. And then we can share and agree on the overall implementation for the whole research. And at the end of the research, I expect that at the end of this year, maybe January or February next year, we can have the final workshop on the key findings and policy recommendation based on what we analyze and come up with after about 6 months of research. So we expect that from this regional research, we can have a sustainable development of the regional rice sector in the context of climate change and other trends. And we could contribute to the improved well-being of smallholders in the rice sector in all 4 countries. And we expect to have 3 key outputs: country reports, regional reports, and policy briefs. We also developed the draft outline of the report. The first part of the report includes the overview of the rice production of each country in recent 5 years. You can have more period But the previous 5 years should be the key, because it's reflect many changes recently, and can have for comparison among countries. So you need to agree on the time frame. So this like general outline, but I hope that then each team can detail this general outline into the more bullet point, depend on the expected source of secondary data and primary data we expect to collect within 6 months or so. So we expect, but at least in this part, we would like to review the rice production, including information about the area, the output, the productivity, the next 5 years compared with this year 2020, and the actors involved in the rice production in each country, and the assessment of the role and position of smallholders in the rice value chains. Of course, I think we should be cautionary in interpreting the results. Like it's hard to compare like 2020 with 2015, because 2020 is kind of special year with COVID pandemic. So it might helpful if we have the time series from 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. So we can have more well-informed implication from the results from the data. The second part is the assessment of the current demand and potential of domestic and export rice markets of each country, also in the recent 5 years. Here we expect to review the demand. If we talk about the current, it really means that like the pattern change of the demand, like Dr. Sun mentioned, that whether if the rice consumption is reduced or not, maybe the consumer consumption is reduced, but the demand for processing might rise. So it will have different implication on the supply and demand balance. So as much as detail as possible in the demand analysis. And also we expect to have information on the domestic and export rice markets of each country, and the potential for rice to participate in the high value markets is like here we would like to think rice as in each country as a part of the global rice value chains. So where we are in the global value chains, and what we expect it to be in like say 5-10 years or so. The third part is on evaluation of rice-related policy of countries in recent 5 years. Here we use the term evaluation, but it's we still think that it might be too strong. For the standard evaluation of policy, maybe it should require like baseline survey and mid-term survey. So it might not feasible for all policy, but you'd like each team to try to make the best use of the information available to evaluate of the policy, because if we have the good evaluation of policy, then we can have the great foundation for policy recommendation. But otherwise, we can change maybe evaluation into review. Maybe it's more feasible. So I leave this for discussion later. For example, in Vietnam, we plan to analyze in detail the policy of petty land conservation for food security target. And for that important policy, we have I think we have enough information for a thorough evaluation. But for other related policy, the information might be weaker. So it should be flexible here, but try to as concrete as possible on policy review or evaluation, and focus on the success and constraints in the in policy implementation too, because sometimes the problem comes from the policy design, but in other case it might come from the implementation stage too, due to different constraints like budget or capacity, etc. So we should be careful in assessment the causes of success as well as the failure of each policy for the persuasive policy recommendation later. And then come to the analysis of potential impact factors on the rice sector. Here we just mentioned climate change, but it's maybe later we should expand more, elaborate more factors like digitalizations and the change of the demand and the international markets, things like that. Like also responsibility on production standard requirements from our customers, things like that. And then we can come to policy recommendations based on the previous analysis. So we expect to have recommendation for the rice production and market in the context of climate change and other trends, and the recommendation for developing the high value markets suitable for each country's situation. And I have future orientations and like measures for policy implementation in each country. So this is like the general outline. And like I mentioned, we expect that each team can detail this outline suitable to each country's specific condition. And here we also suggest the key information that we might focus on when coming to the field. Like here, at least we should interview rice farmer, but if possible, we should also approach other stakeholders in the value chains. And we expect to collect information, the general information of the households, like the income, total income, income from rice, the changing of the income share from rice compared with other sources, like Dr. Sun mentioned in Vietnam situation. In the new context, the farmers have more choice of livelihood away from rice. So the pattern of income change is very important for policy recommendation later. And also whether there is a linkage with the cooperatives and with other stakeholders through contract farming things like that. We think that's important for the value chains, rice value chains analysis. In terms of rice production, of course, we would like to know about their input, including land, labors, and here, for example, in land, in the switching from paddy in Vietnam, from paddy land to other crops, or even to aquaculture, is quite robust in recent 1 or 2 years. So we suggest that we ask about land input and the pattern of land conversion from paddy to other, and also the basic information about the different seasons. Here in Vietnam, we have 3 seasons, but in our countries might different. But it's important to have the information detailed to season, so later we can compare the similarities and difference among countries. So that's we can see that in different times, a period of time in the years. So whether we can complement each other. So that would be good for the food security of at the regional level, and also for the market access later. And yes, we should ask about the cost, different type of costs, including input, labor, capital cost, land, height, things like that. And moving forward, we think that we should also agree on the key milestones, so we can act together as a team. So we expect here's just our suggestions. So how about we have agreed methodology and plan up to the end of July. By that time, we expect that we now each country can have the consultant teams and a career plan to go to the field, and by that time we can hold the workshop, the first workshop on the implementation plan and experience among countries. So we can share the like what we have in the next 1 month. Anything we can share. We can share at the first workshop. And then with the clear methodology and plan, and also the detailed outline, so we can start with literature review, data collection. Up to the end of October, we should all teams should be ready, finish all that to have at least 1 month for writing the first draft of the country report, and then we can have around 1-2 months for combining into the regional report, and share among ourselves, and get comment from Dr. Sơn, Dr. Tung, and maybe others experts. And we hope that we can have the finalized countries and regional reports by the end of March next year. At each milestone, we expect that all the output available at that time should be shared among all the 4 teams for comment about ourselves. And we understand that this our first attempt to do the regional to do research at the regional level. And each country have specific conditions and constraints. So we expect there are different risks, and so we hope that we can discuss. We would like to solve all the risks and the expected coping measure. Like I mentioned, we understand that due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So we should be careful in interpreting the result from information collected now. So it should be compared with the other like normal time, like in 2018, for example, to cope with that risk. And later, each team can share more risk that you can expect and how you should cope with that, and if we need to modify the milestone for for the feasibility of the study, and if there are any other risks like to Myanmar, for example, I expect that you would have a more difficult time. So you can share, and we can all try to find a solution. So that's all I would like to share. Thank you for your attendance, and expect to more input and comments and contribution from all of you. Thank you very much. Bắt lại cái màn hình kia đi. Không share nữa.
Okay. Now I think, are there any questions related to the report of Chang? Please raise your hand and feel free to ask questions to clarify the report before we can come to the discussion. Everybody?
Good afternoon again, Dr. Sun, and thank you for presentations. I think we are likely okay with the method, but we have a discussion with our team again. Like because in Cambodia we have a limitation of data, so I'm not sure whether we can find like 5-year data, but in terms of RIE, we have a lot of study and data, but again, for that detail of time series data might be hard to find. And I have a question on the regional report. Because regional study is important that we study each country and then we synthesize the report together, lesson learned from each other. What is the good point from Cambodia? What is good point from Vietnam? And then we synthesize the report. So who will be responsible for regional reports? And can we like how we interact together on to do this regional report, because this important part of the regional study is to join the report together.
Yes.
So if you can clarify on this point, thank you.
Yeah. I think it is quite clear that in each country we will do 3 things. First is the study with the secondary data. The second will be field visit. Sorry that everybody seems to be not very happy with the very limited research fund. Our research is so small, even though the scope is quite large, quite ambitious. So I think that what we looking for is the main picture of the rice sector in the countries. So after you doing 2 things, first is secondary analysis. Second is field visit to check and update information. I think the third thing that the cell can do is to do the national analysis. And after that, IPSARD will have a responsible to collect all information from the 4 countries and write a regional, do a regional analysis and write a regional report. During that process, are there any question or verification or matching data to ensure that everybody is with the same speed and same standard? The Vietnamese team will ask again. So that's what I expect. Is it satisfied with your question? And any question?
Yeah, thank you. Very good answer. I have no more questions. Yep.
Are there any question? There one thing I would like also would like to say and would like to seek your advice. That is about the field visit. Of course, when you see the questionnaire is quite simple. However, we try to access the effectiveness of rice production in each country in order to compare the production price in each country. We also try to compare among ourselves in domestic market and international market. And we also try to compare among ourselves the policy now applied for rice sector. I think that is three things. And of course, behind that is a problem, opportunity, etc. However, when we go to the field, I think that we have to make agree ourselves that we will emphasize into the most key strategic rice region in the countries, because like Dr. Chan mentioned, in each country, in each season, it will be quite different for input output table for rice practice. So in order to collect information for quite detail, I think we should emphasize to the more strategic rice system in the countries. It means the largest area, the largest, the most important in rice production area of the countries. That's what you can do at this point. Yes, any comment?
Concerning the field works, because right now in Cambodia we have serious COVID restrictions.
Yes.
Most of the travels not allowed in the province, and I think we're not allowed. When we need a permission letter from Ministry of Interior to conduct field works.
I see.
And normally, I think from there's normally they don't provide permissions letters now because of COVID situation. And normally for our fieldwork, we conduct it online. Everything is online, sometimes by Zoom and sometimes by phone call. For farmers, normally we use phone call and then collect the phone number from the village, from village chief or our facilitators in the province. And with a stakeholder like local authority or trader, we use online meeting like Zoom or others type of like Telegram, something like that. So I think that until the October, we are not sure whether we can go to the field, but the alternative plan that we use will be online. Yeah. And last time we also used online, and currently a lot of most of all of our research fieldwork conducted online. So I think we will plan on online fieldworks.
Yes, I think we in Vietnam we are a little bit more comfortable than you to go to the field, but we are aware that is the same situation will happen in many countries. So I think in that situation we would like to provoke the working partner in provinces to support the information first, like you just mentioned, like representative farmer or trader, or the key information discussion, the key information survey. I think we have to rely on that at this point. And we do agree with you about the situation. Yes. But if we do it, please make a project to ensure that the information is good enough. Yes, are there any question and comment? The Lao team and Myanmar team.
Yes, Dr. Sun, I have some comment for the TOR.
Yes, yes, please.
Please share. Yeah, this is just in my opinion after I read your TOR. Okay.
Yes. So
Yes.
Efficiency.
From my opinion, for the outcome of the live production, I think should be extended for the example. For example, it should be focused also the productivity, efficiency, and commoditization. And the second point is for the determinedness. So in the TOR is I think not consistent. There should be group, for example, there should be A, talk about policy on rice, and B, agricultural extension, and C, technology adoption, and D, environmental change, and E, trade and globalization or extra, so on and so forth. And for the third point, for the data of the population should be specified in order to be able to pursue sample selection. And for the objective, in the objective 2, I think it should be consent more on volume change for the procedures to be able to take from the farm to the final market. And for the last point, in the objective number 5, I think it's not process. It could be start on world market development. It is going to learn from neighbor or from sub-Mekong country. Yeah, this is just for my comment. Thank you.
Objective 5. What people use to learn.
Hồi đầu mình nói là có thể học một cái Thái Lan nữa thì có thể là chỉ tới học 4 lớp này.
Yeah. So maybe we discuss each question I think that in my opinion, the question one looked very good, with reasonable. I think we should focus really into the yield, activities, efficiency, yes, and it can divide into the main commodity, maybe because each kind of rice commodity they have different economic efficiency. Yes. For the second one, I don't know how was the cell in our case. We have too much of too many of policy. So if we talk about a policy of extension, agriculture extension is quite large scope. Or IND policy also quite large. And it's not only for rice, it's also for another agriculture sector. So that's why we would like to emphasize into the any kind of policy related to rice. So if it can directly apply for rice, it's okay. Even that is a technology policy or trading policy. Okay. So we will use the keyword is rice. So I think it's open for everybody, but the emphasize rice. The target, the beneficiary will be rice farmer or rice trader. The third one, what does it mean?
Mẫu khảo sát mình muốn để lỏng vì mình chỉ có cái kỳ đấy thì
we really concerned about the two things. One is the funding is limited. Second thing is the situation of surveying, like Sam just mentioned, is quite limited also in epidemic situation. So that's why we are not fixed in the sample the sample technique. Keep it quite open. That is the reason. So we really we wish that we can unify ourselves in the same sample technique, but in this situation we have to keep it quite flexible. That is the reason why we went like that. So please give more comment for that. For object 4, it is the same. That we really want to have a value chain information, and I think we encourage each research team will do data collection and data analysis, at least to draw out the mapping of value chain for rice in the strategic area, and that's what we will do. So, but if in the case we have serious problem that we cannot connect on the stakeholder in the value chain, we cannot check along the value chain system. So it's high. You can explain. You can take a picture of each key point of the value chain is good enough. And in objective 5, I understand that before we already discussed about the opportunity to learn from ourselves, among ourselves, and also learn from our neighbor like China or Thailand, the one who do quite a good job. So for this point, I would like to ask your suggestion. We still want to do it, if possible, but maybe we keep here maybe 2 options. If we can connect, we can contact, we can utilize the information from our neighbor, it's good. Otherwise, at least we have to ensure that information about the lesson learned among ourselves to be made. That's our idea. So, Ms. Chan, do you have any idea?
Yeah. Yes, I totally agree with the son. So, if,
Sit down, Ravi.
so from IPSARD team, we totally agree with what Dr. Son suggests and comments on the 5 bullet points that the Myanmar team raised here. Allows. And anyway, I just would like to add that in terms of sample selection or field visits plans, so each country should develop the specific plan and sample selection criteria suitable for each country condition, and then we can like synthesize or try to like balance among ourselves, and hope for that from now to the next workshop, the first workshop of this study, we can have a reasonable plan on this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good comment. How do you think about the idea of Lao team? I would like to ask Cambodia and Myanmar team.
For us, we are flexible on the method and the thing that we want to learn. But like Dr. Sun also mentioned about the scope of the study is like already too big, and we are flexible in terms of what we want to learn from and what kind of factor that affect. But we should focus on the trends of the shift of the rice market, also the rice productions would be more useful because we're doing the comparative study between countries. So if there are change different between the 4 countries, what is happening in this country and that country, so we can learn from each other. So I think we should stick to the trend and the shifting and the production of and the market of the rice sectors. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. Are there any idea from Myanmar team? Mua?
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Regarding with the study plan, we will provide the kind of like details comment on what I mean from to contribute the research with the current situations, and also we have a long uh, 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 challenges that we are facing as a think tank is data consistency and availability. So that's a Myanmar specific case. So based on the proposal, we'll provide uh, comments on the whole proposal, and also from the country perspective, we'll provide later. So in order to participate in this research, we are more than happy to do it because as you explained, it's challenging situations, and we have many challenges for the food security, and for the country in Myanmar, we also facing the environmental challenges, and also COVID, and now with the political instability. So, we are more than happy to do it when the country need us most, but we also facing with the difficulties with the support from the, FAO and NARDT due to the political situations. So taking into consideration on those facts, we will try our best to support, and we also request our, other partners to also, help us to explain the situation here, and no matter what, our citizens and publics and farmers needs our assistance. So supporting to the think tank, who can provide the policy recommendations to not only do the policy maker, but also the other stakeholders that shouldn't be include in the political agenda. So that's what I want to request and express our situation right now. Thank you.
Thank you, we share with you, we are very sympathetic with you for the situation in your country now, and we really admire the cooperation and support and encourage you to participate as much as possible in our research program. We can frankly tell you that what we design here is minimum the requirement that we ask everybody in order to have the same level of data, in order to we can later on it can be incorporated into the group report. However, if the country is, there are two things. First, if the country can go further than that, please do so. From ourselves, I think that Vietnamese team we will try to do our best. For example, like for value chain, I think we will have a very good mapping and analyze in value chain. We also under the request from with the request from the government, we are now doing a balance sheet of the food security of the countries, and it relates very directly into rice production volume. So I think in general we can supply for you the picture after we analyze, so you can have a good look and have a good reference data. And if in the countries you have any one you want to say want to know more about Vietnam policy, please ask us. We will put into the report, or we can say it individually with your countries to support for policy dialogue with your countries. So don't hesitate to ask us, even though that is the policy or information in supply side or in trading side. I think we should keep the same spirit when we work together. And I would like to ask Dr. Tung that you or anyone in IPSARD team can have any way to connect with someone in Thailand and ask them, are there any opportunity that we can learn from them with the voluntary base? In our budget, we don't have that line of funding. Dr. Tung, are you there? Okay, we will come back to that question later. Are anyone have any comment? So maybe now we can start to country region presentation for your plan. So we ask Myanmar first. You want to list for that? Please share with you share us your plan to do the research. Or if you have any question or problem, please say it.
Certainly where we come from.
We don't hear.
Noah, are you talking? We cannot hear you. Please unmute yourself.
Please unmute yourself.
Noah.
Or if you are still prepare, maybe we ask now team start first. Yes, please. Now, listen me. Could you start to your you have a floor.
Professor, please come again. I cannot hear it. Please come again.
Yes, please. Now you have a floor to give your presentation. Please tell us about working plan for the research, or you have any discussion around the research program. Please tell us. We have PowerPoint presentation.
No, I don't have a PowerPoint presentation for the research plan now.
So
Yeah.
just
But I think full researcher from the life center in Lompoang Pyramid, they can present. Maybe they have some idea to present.
who?
Come out of the
Yes.
come down.
Yes.
Can you do my of dog?
Hello, come down.
Yes.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Oh. So I did not have the question yet.
But we have
But I just
we have anything you want
But-
to say with us? Are there anything you want to say with us?
yeah. I just looking the questionnaire from the Vietnam. So talking about the market is a limited question about that. I just worrying about that one. So how we can get the more detail about that.
So we have a booking plan. Do you?
I don't have yet
Not. Okay.
because this I just got the information from Lasmi. So just a few days ago. So
Okay.
I
So
didn't have the feel yet.
okay. So please prepare it and we will discuss about that later with you.
Okay, okay. Yeah.
How about Sim from Cambodia? Do you have a working plan to want to share with us? Hello, Sim. Sim, do you hear me? Okay, Sim, could you tell us about your plan or any discussion about your team?
For this study, we have 3 team members. One is Yamanil Dams, our research associate in our centers, agriculture centers. He will lead the report writings, and normally he will do the desk review in terms of what we have for literature and secondary data that we can use to construct the few chapter about. And Ms. Kiel Pirum, our research associate, also will help on the field works. She will normally she will organize the field works and trainings for data collection, and then do some of the data analysis. And we'll have Munir Dams in terms of data analysis. We have our research associate. He is not here, but he will also help in terms of logistic arrangement for the fieldwork and some of the data collection from the ministry if that's not available yet. And in terms of work plan schedule, I think we will follow IPSARD schedule. And because we haven't discussed with our team yet how feasible is the field work. So we will discuss with our team members of the study, and we'll present the detailed work plans during the next meetings. Is that clear? What else you want us to say?
Okay, I think no, I think. Okay, I think it's good enough. So at this point, so I think today we can consider it is the opening meeting. So we start to know and have the signal that we start to work together. So I think during next week we can have more time to prepare the plan yourself, and we can discuss again. How about, are there anyone from Myanmar team? Are there anyone from Myanmar team that can connect? Okay. So I think that today we already have know each other. We wake up again our information about the research program. We also have first round of comment and discussion about the problem and the level that we can reach for this research during the very difficult time today. And we have the good thing is that we have the same commitment from 4 countries, even though we have to facing with the very serious problem of epidemic or with unstable situation of political. So I wish that everybody will have good health. We prepare, do the homework, and later on we will connect again and share together the country's plan and make sure that everybody link together and start to work. That's what I would like to say today. And thank you very much for your participation. And Mr. Tung, if you still there, would you want to say something with us?
Yes, Dr. Sun.
Ah, yeah.
Not say something, but I'd like to have the present the one you PowerPoint, the one you present for today. Could you share this file for us with us?
Yeah, sure.
The present
Yes,
presentation file.
sure. We will send our presentation today to everybody.
Okay, thank you so much.
We have a short note for whatever we discussed. Are there anything you want to say with us? Otherwise, thank you and have a good day.
Yeah, so you have high consensus.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.